electric.
Well, this journey has taken a bit of a roller coaster ride, hasn't it? Trying to get a second electric car for Susan so that we're a fully electric family. We've gone around in circles a little bit. If you're following my journey, you'll have seen that, well, following our journey, you'll have seen that we considered a Kia e-Soul and actually ordered one, but Kia pulled the rug from under us and we're no longer able to order it. We tried ordering a second-hand one, a used one, a demonstrator one, another new one in stock, and all the adverts were misleading. They said that there were cars available, these Kia e-Souls, and really there weren't. They were just adverts and they were trying to get you to convert to a Kia e-Niro. The ones that were available, they wanted over the price more than the new cost, and I wasn't going to do that with the dealer. I wasn't going to overpay for an electric car. So the Kia e-Soul disappeared and we started to get desperate because, you know, I'd offered Susan a Polestar, I'd offered her an Enyaq, an EV6 and ioniq 5. We'd gone through the whole list of ID3s and 4s and Cupras and everything that there was really, and she said no to everything. Nothing felt emotional to her. She didn't have a connection to it like she did with her petrol Mini, the Myrtle car. So we'd sort of run out of options and decided, well, let's go and look at a Mini Clubman, because a Mini Clubman is the look of the car, the size of the car, and there's a colour scheme and leather interior that we really, really loved. So we went and looked at one, got a price, 32 to, I think it was 32,000, 32 and a half, something like that for the car. And we came down to the point, the very last moment of saying, shall we buy it? Shall we press click buy? Shall we get this car? And Susan changed her mind and said, no, I want to go electric. And that surprised me a little bit because it's me being the EV advocate. She was just happy with her car and wasn't so concerned about the drivetrain. But clearly it's had an impact. Clearly something's changed because she realised that this gorgeous Mini Clubman, that if we bought it, would just sit there as a driveway ornament because we would pick the electric car to use. It is nicer to go out for a drive in an electric car and then come back and recharge on solar. It's a great feeling. It's not about the money. It's not about penny pinching. You know, £100 to fill up the petrol car every couple of weeks isn't so bad, but it is a few £100s that we don't need to spend. And it is a feel-good factor when you use solar energy, use your own energy to fuel your car, and you don't need petrol or diesel. Plus also, she doesn't like going to a petrol station. You know, often she ends up going shopping at Sainsbury's just to go and fill up with petrol. Now she's not going to have to do that because we have gone fully electric, and I'm sat here in Susan's new electric car. It's just quite a bizarre one because I was just sat there researching EVs on Auto Trader, as you do, looking at prices, looking at options. What is out there? What could I have missed? You know, could I entice Susan with a Nissan Leaf? No. A Peugeot 2008? No. An e-Corsa? No. EGolf? Oh, EGolf. It's a hatchback, it's a four-door, it's a proper car. It's not a big SUV. It doesn't really look like an electric car. It doesn't have a weird front end. A Golf would actually suit what we want. I wonder if Susan would really like a Golf, whether she could attach to a Golf. So we had a discussion and her eyes lit up a little bit. So she had a good feeling about it to start with. Then we saw this car. It's in Oryxx White, it's pearlescent white, the same sort of pearlescent white that the Kia e-Soul was going to come in, and it's a very nice colour car. It's bright because it's white, so it doesn't show the dirt, but the pearlescent side just gives it a really lovely sparkle to it. And the wheels are Madrid alloy wheels, 17-inch wheels, and that again makes it look like it's not the electric car. The flush wheel trims, the flush aero wheels of the standard e-Golf does make it stand out a little bit more. It's not that we want to hide that we're driving an electric car, but we both seem to like cars that just look like cars. I like the uniqueness of a Polestar, I like the uniqueness of a Kia e-Soul, so I don't mind that they're electric cars, but some of them like the Kona and the Leaf and the Zoe, they do stand out because of the front end area very much that they're an electric car. The Golf here doesn't. It looks just like any other Mark 7, Mark 7.5 Golf. And the front grille area has been blocked in very, very nicely with the black trim. So you really can't tell this is an electric car. And I sort of like that. It just blends in, so it looks like just a nice car. So we have that emotional attachment. Susan said, yes, this is the car we've bought. I just suddenly realised as well, from the logical point of view of buying this car, that it was a really good deal. I think too many people sort of discount the EGolf thinking, oh, it's old tech, it's a small battery, it doesn't really work. And yeah, EGolfs, started with like a 22 kilowatt hour battery with not a lot of range at all, so sub 100 miles. This EGolf is 35, 36 kilowatt hours, 32 to 33 kilowatt hours usable, and it seems really efficient as well. Range-wise, this EGolf is actually more, especially on WLTP, than the Mini. This Golf should do 160 to 185 miles of range in the perfect conditions in the summer, etc., where our Mini was only 140 to 160. So I think those extra 3 kilowatt hours of usable capacity that you get with this EGolf, that's going to give an extra 10, 15 miles of range. Plus also the guessometer on this, the range calculator, is actually quite accurate and does seem to change dynamically with your driving style very, very quickly. So we're driving along, this car currently says 145 miles of range, and it's got 90, 93%, something like that. I can't quite see what percentage it is, which does bug me a little bit. It doesn't show an actual number, it shows a gauge. But the fact that it shows 145 miles of range, whereas the Mini you'd start out with 120, you'd set sat-nav and it suddenly tell you you've only got 90 miles of range. So it would look like the Mini has a much, much lesser range than this car. But it's only that the Mini was lying to you. And I've got to confess that even though I know it, even though I've got used to it, even though I sort of like the game of beating the car because the car always is pessimistic about the range, in the back of your mind you're always still thinking that's not a lot of range. Where when you get a bigger number, and I remember this when I had the Kona electric with the huge numbers on it for range, you do get a sense of comfort. So just having a larger number on the screen is actually a positive and brings more security to both Susan and myself, I guess. So this EGolf is really good. It's a 4-door, it's practical, there's more space in the back seats here than what we had in the Kona electric. Obviously there's a lot more than the Mini. The boot is much deeper and it's a hatch, so it's not as tall as the Kia e-Soul. The e-Soul seem to have similar storage to this EGolf, but the Golf is lower down, but it's deeper. So that space is more practical for us, for shopping and for Cracker. I don't know if you can see there also, there's, where is it? I can't get my finger to go there. There's a ski hatch between the loading through bay hatch in the back seats. So Cracker's in the boot now, being a good boy. There he is on cue. But he can put his head and have a look through the ski hatch as well, which Susan really likes that. Cracker seems, and there he is. Cracker seems to like that as well, having a look. So this car suits Cracker space-wise. He's not cramped in like the Mini. The Mini used to close the hatch and he'd have to duck his head a little bit to stop being bashed. There's much more space in this car. The EGolf is about the same size as a Kona electric. I'll put the sizes on the screen up here somewhere. It's about 2 tons. It's about 300 kilograms heavier than the Mini is, so that's why the Mini is a bit more of a go-kart and darting around, and this isn't. But it's a similar length to a Kona, similar height, and yet it doesn't look like a crossover SUV, so we really like that. Space-wise inside, it is just really comfortable. So you've got this center dash area, I'll put a picture on the screen again, but it's quite low. And unlike a Leaf, it doesn't stick into your leg at the side. It's nice and smooth and flat, so that's nice. Unlike a Polestar, it's quite low, it's not high, so you don't feel that the cabin's small. It's quite a light and airy cabin and spacious. It's just a really well-appointed car. Even the door bins have carpet in them at the sides and the bottoms, so things don't rattle around. I mean, how many cars now, whether it's 40 or 50,000 pounds, how many electric cars just have plastic door bins? So this little Golf is, it's a classy car. It's really smooth to drive. The throttle response isn't as sharp as the Mini, and the regen isn't as strong as the Mini. So Susan likes that it's smoother. It's smoother to accelerate, it's smoother to slow down, it's not as jerky. She keeps forgetting to put it in eco mode as well. When she drives the Mini, she thinks it's really responsive, but it's because it's in normal mode all the time. She doesn't click it into eco mode. With the Golf, it's quite smooth whether it's in normal or eco mode, and the regen in B mode, which is its strongest regen, it is softer. It isn't as strong as the Mini, or definitely not as strong as the Kona. So this Mini just ticks all the boxes. It has so much going for it. This exact specification, we chose it because it has the digital active display dash. I really liked that. It's got full climate control. It's got the updated sports leather seats. These leather seats are, I think it's Vienna leather is the specification that you'd actually order. But it's the sportiness of the seat that I really like. It holds you well in the corners. It just feels supportive. And it is a very, very comfortable seat. But because they're upgraded seats, they're heated as well. It doesn't have a reversing camera on it, but it's got sensors front and back. So it's just a really good specification. Price-wise, we paid just over £27,000 for this, which sounds like a lot for a 2-year-old e-Golf. £27,000 is a lot for a car. But when you start to think about electric cars and you're considering buying them new, you get used to the idea that they're 30-something, they're 40-something, they're 50-something. The price just keeps going up and up. So for us to have rejected cars that cost between £40,000 and £50,000 and bought a £27,000 e-Golf seems like a bit of a bargain. We were about to buy that Kia e-Soul. That was £35,000. So we've saved £8,000 from that. One of the key points that I'd want to get across considering an e-Golf is you're buying a really good car. You're paying £27,000 for a Golf, a really good quality car. You're not buying a big battery. When you're buying a bigger MG or a Kona or an e-Niro, e-Soul, all those sort of cars, one of the key elements of what you're buying is a bigger battery. And I think the market is going like that. People are buying cars with big range, big batteries, big charging speeds. Whereas what we've learned driving the Mini, we don't need the high charging speed, because even at 50 kilowatts, we find that it charges too fast for us. We're not doing huge multi-hundred mile journeys that we need to fully charge the car, and we're sat there going, come on, we need to get going. We're on 250 mile journeys for our longest trips when we go on holiday. Those number of hours driving, those 3, 4, 5 hours driving is plenty for us. Our average speed is going to be 50 miles an hour or less when we're out driving on longer distance. So we just don't need those high charging speeds. So if we don't need them, why buy them? And if we don't need a 300 mile range car, I mean, it's nice to have. It's nice to charge the battery at home from solar anyway. So it's a bit like a storage battery. But you're paying for this thing that you're driving around with that you don't really need. And I can remember saying that. I can remember other people saying it years ago. But now I've actually experienced it. Having driven the Mini, I know that a high 90% of our journeys are under 100 miles. I know that only 5 times since we bought the Mini in March, so that's 5 coming up 6 months, only 5 times have we had to fill up at public chargers because we've gone over the 140 mile range of the car. So those 5 times, those few times, are worth it. And there's more chargers. It is convenient and easy. So it's not like this e-Golf has only got a range of 160 miles. It's got that range plus whatever you top up, whether it's a splash and dash charge that I prefer to do, or whether it's a longer charge. You can extend your journeys. It's just a case of stopping for a charge. And once you get your head around the fact that it's not a problem and it's easy and chargers are available and there are more and more coming online all the time, I think it just makes more sense to have a smaller batteried, a smaller range electric car. Which sounds a little bit odd, because I can remember when I got the Kona, I was thinking everyone would want to be in a larger range car because it's easier. You don't have any stress. You can go wherever you like. And it's very, very true. As your first electric car, the bigger battery you've got, the easier you adjust to it. But equally, when you get yourself in a smaller range car like the Mini, you learn lots more about charging. You learn lots more about range, and the anxiety disappears The only fault with the Mini, like I said, is because it displays an incorrect number on the dash for how many miles you've got to go, and is misleading. So that's the only bad side about it. This Golf is a step up in every respect from the Mini. Well, every respect apart from one. So it's more spacious, it's the 4 doors, it's better for shopping. That's what we're doing now. Susan's popping in the supermarket while I'm filming this video. I did actually film another version of this video just the other day. Our first drive, we went over to Sheringham and I filmed the journey and a discussion about the car and the same sort of thing about why we bought it. But I just didn't like it. I've edited it and got it ready to go. It's up on YouTube, I just haven't made it public. And I didn't like it, so I thought I'd film this one and see if it's any better. So I just wanted to explain to you why we're not going with a Mini Clubman. Yes! Why we've gone fully electric, that Susan really wanted to go electric, and why this car. There are just so many of these Golfs available. There are 60 odd on Auto Trader, probably about 100 or so in total available at the moment around the country. So they're all available now, instantly. You don't have to wait a year for an order of a new car. They're cheaper than the new cars. I mean, amazingly, this will give you a good idea about what good value this is. My Mini, I paid 32.5, and I got a bit of a discount because of the grant that was messed around. But I paid 32.5 for it. List price is 34.5. Looking on Auto Trader, if I get the same price as retail, then I could get between 35 and 37,000 pounds for my car now, with 5,000 miles on it and a 22 reg, just 6 months old. So this car, this EGolf, is 2 years older than it, but we bought it with 6,500 miles on it. It's virtually the same. Condition-wise, it looks and feels exactly like my Mini. So the only thing that we haven't got buying a slightly older car is we haven't got as much warranty. You know, the warranty runs out in 2023. So it's a bit of a bargain, you know, because if a Mini is 35 to 37,000, and just for being a 2-year-older car, we've only spent 27 on this same high spec, then I do think this is a bit of a bargain. That extra 7, 8, 9, 10,000 pounds saving between a 22 reg electric car with lesser specifications or buying this top of the range. I'll call this top of the range, with the leather, active cruise control, the alloy wheels, the pearlescent paint, all the sensors, the climate control, all those extras. I think it was about £3,500 of extras this car's got. Make it a very good specification anyway. So you can get this same sort of age car, a 20 reg. I've even seen them up to 70 reg for an EGolf, with very low mileage for around £24,000. So 24 to 27 gets you an almost new feeling, new looking EGolf, which seems very good value to me. And if you go for slightly higher mileage, I saw some lovely ones, good specs around 30,000 miles, 19 and 20 reg, and those were 22, 22.5, 23,000 pounds. What else can you get for that money? What else can you get as an electric car for that sort of money? Zoe? Yep, I guess so. You can't get a Kona 39. Leaf, I guess a Leaf 40 by the comparison. The new MG that's out, the MG Z4, yep, that does compare. That's mid to high 20,000s for the low spec. But again, Susan just said no to it. You know, it's a new car with a bigger battery. But what is it about that car, the MG4, that appealed to her? And there was nothing. She didn't like the look of it. She didn't like the interior. I don't think she likes the MG badge, which, yeah, I know, it's not ideal, but different people like different things, and I think MG are filling the gap of the price is right, the size and shape of the car's right, and the battery size is right, and the efficiency is right. It ticks those boxes, and hence the MG is great. And the MG quality inside is a lot better than I expected, especially on the ZS. They almost look like they got Volkswagen parts in it. It's a very good looking car, but just not for Susan. So this EGolf just came out of the blue, and a bit left field, because you don't sort of think about buying an older spec, an older tech car. And I think probably I can tell that this is an older tech car because of the lack of battery heating, the lack of lane assist. It doesn't have lane assist. It's got active cruise control, but it doesn't self-steer. So there's a few bits of tech that you realise this is an older electric car. but it just does everything so well. The drive is so smooth. The handling is, it's not go-kart like, but it doesn't roll in the corners, so it's a really enjoyable drive. It's very soft over speed bumps, unlike the Mini, which crashes over them a bit. The suspension's very hard. In this EGolf, it's not. It's nice and soft. This is a serene, comfortable, quiet journey, and quiet is another thing to mention. Another thing that I really like, when you turn the car on, there's no bings and bongs like all the Hyundais and Kias. It's not giving you alarms and startup tunes and rubbish. So it's a lovely, quiet car. The insulation in the car is brilliant, that you can't really hear the road noise, the tyre noise. It is a much quieter drive than many electric cars that I've driven. And it doesn't have a spaceship sound either. So a lot of cars have their fake noise that they have to, the VES, virtual engine sound, and it's often very electronic, very spaceship sounding. This has a simulated engine noise, so it's got a more deep rather than high tone, and it's very quiet, and you just hear this deep noise as you accelerate. I can't actually hear the electric motor, whereas in the Mini I hear the virtual engine sound. It's brighter, higher pitch sound, but then also I can hear the whine of the electric motor. This car's so quiet I can't hear the electric motor, so it is a very, very comfortable, quiet place to be. We're thrilled with the car, absolutely thrilled, and Susan is over the moon with it. She's named the car, this is Golfie, so meet Golfie, and I can tell that she likes the car when she names it straight away. The daft thing with us was we didn't even test drive this car. We bought it blind, so again I've bought another car blind. Now, how would we known that the car drives like it does? And I guess she's just relying on you know what a Golf's like. It's reliable. It does what other Golfs are going to do. It is a quiet, solid drive. It's a good designed car. Visibility is great. Space is great. The hatch is great. Everything's just good, and it was quite obvious. I've seen enough test reviews of EGolfs by people like Bjorn years ago, so I know people said it's a good car to drive. I know the lights are really good at night. There's lots I know about the car already without having driven it, but I really can't believe almost that I'm sat here in Susan's EGolf, and we did buy it blind. It's crazy, all that fuss about what car to have, and she doesn't want this and she doesn't want that. It's very difficult keeping Susan happy, because I was able to make her happy just showing her pictures of a car. So it is about the look and how it feels to her in her mind about what the car looks like. And that is a bit superficial, isn't it? It's not ideal, but what can you do? If that's what your wife wants, she wants to associate a car and like the look of it before she even goes and sits in it, then that's what had to happen. And yeah, it's been a long journey. It's been a couple of years, hasn't it, getting Susan across to an electric car, but job done. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Just want to share with you what we've bought and why we've bought it and what we think of it. Really love this car. I think I might pinch it and drive it a bit more than the Mini as well. Apart from the go-kart feel and that fun factor, this has got everything and more that the Mini has. And it's a bit of a bargain. So yeah, if you're stuck for what electric car to buy and you're worried about what cars you can buy and the ordering time, the lead time, we got this within a week. So yeah, definitely think about an EGolf. We didn't for so long, and we should have done. Take care, see you again, more videos, electric cars, solar panels, home storage batteries, and driving in this wonderful EGolf and the Mini. Bye for now.